That's fair.
Thank you very much, Greg. We now have a
Thank you.
reflection time from Ian Dolphin. Ian Dolphin is Executive Director of the Apereo Foundation and has been involved with open source software in higher education for almost 20 years. He is former head of e-strategy at the University of Hull in the UK and worked for the JISC for 2 years. Ian, are you there?
I am here, Janice. Thank you very much. So this is we're coming to the end of the first morning session where you get an overview of Apereo projects. You've seen about half of them, the projects that relate to what we've described as the communication, scheduling, authentication, media capture, back end. And what we really wanted to do in this time is just give you the opportunity to make comments, anything that struck you so far, any points in common, and a little bit of space to have a breather before we go on to our last session at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is an exciting session featuring sponsors, showcase, and posters. One thing that struck me about several of the early presentations this morning, there's a recurring question, which is, how do we better discover institutions that are using our software? And I made a note of that. Do people from projects want to indicate how they do this? Let us know and in the chat, and I'll allow you to talk. Or indeed, any other general points you want to make. Otherwise, we get lunch, for me, a little late, but for people on US Eastern, a little early.
So Ian, they've asked you to repeat the question, please.
Okay, so one question that came up in several presentations early this morning was, how do we better discover institutions that are using our software? We don't always get to know about them. Any projects have good practice they want to share there? How do you find out who's using your stuff out there?
And we have a comment from Chuck Severance. It's always a trade-off between knowing and surveillance. And from Greg Logan, we have a package repository so users who want to register can. It's public, so it's not required.
Two very useful comments. Anyone else? Any other questions that anyone wants to ask at this time? Comments about the conference format itself? Literally a bit of a breather, general discussion time.
We have a comment from Lucy Appert. I think those are interesting comments in light of Kathleen's talk. And from Susanna M., Unitime has voluntary registration.
Well, I think this will become a topic for further conversation throughout the year. Any other comments that folks want to make at this stage? If not, we'll close this morning US Eastern session.
We have one more. Xerti also has voluntary registration. That's from Inga Donkervoort. And from Audrey Postel-Janitz, used to be pages on apereo.org where adopters could register their implementations, mostly gone.
Mostly pushed down to project pages, but we can look at that. That's a useful comment. Thank you.
Any more? From Alan Regan, others can correct me, but I think Sakai is also voluntary registration, question mark.
I think that's right, and I think that's the norm amongst our projects.
From Matilda Guerin, we've tried to identify French uPortal instances by checking specific URLs. /uportal and or resources. And from Lauren Haywood, thanks all. From Chuck Severance, we do audit Sakai from time to time using various data sources. From Matilda Guerin, plus surveys. From Chuck Severance, we do want to know folks so we can get a security contact.
Particularly important, and we try to register them at a foundation level as well as subscriptions are renewed.
Apologies to anyone whose name I did not pronounce correctly.
I think you got them, Janice.
Let's see, from Lucy Appert, I feel like CAS is a big unknown on this front. From Audrey Postoyanets, but yes, such stats data would be great for university executives to know when making decisions about adopting new projects.
Yeah, it's spectacularly difficult to get hard information on CAS because CAS is a point of origin was Yale University, but it's very widely used outside education now, and I've seen it used in back in the days when we used to stay in hotels, even in certain major hotel chains, certainly widely used within telecoms and other industries. But yeah, absolutely. We need the stats in order to build the cases for adoption, and that's important.
From Lucy Appert, +1, Audrey.
Okay, I'm gonna say we can stop there. Enjoy your lunch break if it's that time of day. Enjoy your early evening meal if it's that time of day for you. And we'll get together again back at 2 o'clock for the reception with sponsors, showcase, and posters. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ian.